Hi, and welcome along to AFTV News Daily. Now, we're supposed to be doing a show tonight where we've got Lewis from the Chelsea channel. He ain't here yet. I don't know what's happened to him so far. I don't know if he's bottled it, if he's scared to come up against Arsenal. I don't know. Maybe he's still feeling the pain from that Martinelli goal. I don't know, right? But at the moment, he hasn't joined yet. I'm hoping that he's going to pick up and join us very soon. So we should have, hopefully, Lewis from Blues Fans TV up on here very shortly. Still waiting for him to join the stream. What I wanted to discuss with him tonight was the whole Arsenal, Chelsea, Aubameyang, thing. Willian. I wanted to discuss that with him, because I was up with his Chelsea, man. They're trying to take all our players right now at the moment and then give us their little cast-offs. So I wanted to talk to him about that, but we haven't got him up yet. So in the meantime, what I'll do is just refresh you with some of the news that's been going on today. And then what we'll do is we'll then answer some of the questions until he jumps on the stream. On Aubameyang, I spoke about it this morning. There's lots of rumors now coming out. Well, a lot of these rumors sort of coming out of Spain that he's going to stay now. That he's changed his mind and he's going to stay at Arsenal. Now, again, it's just speculation. He's coming out of Spain, not England. He does play over here in England, so you would have thought he'd be coming out of here first. But the publication that he's come out with is very close to Barcelona. So maybe it's because they know that those clubs over in Spain, they're not going to be looking for Aubameyang. Real Madrid or Barcelona. The coronavirus crisis has hit them hard as well. And they're coming out and they're saying that he is, from what they heard, is going to be staying at Arsenal. And it's been going around quite a lot today, that rumour. But there is still the Chelsea rumour just bubbling around all over the place that he is going to go to Chelsea. And that's one of the things I wanted to ask Lewis about is, does he think that might happen? Joseph here says, hi, Lewis. Would you take Aubameyang at Chelsea? Robbie, would you take Willian at Arsenal? Now, as I said, Lewis isn't here yet. We're still waiting for him to join. I don't want Willian. Simple. No, I wouldn't. I don't really want Willian. To me, I'm happy with the strikers and the wingers that we've got. Willian is a cast-off from Chelsea. He's a good player. I'm not dissing him to say he's not a good player. He's a quality player. But he's 31. Chelsea are done with him. Why do we want him? I'm fed up with that. So no, don't want him. So I hope that answers that one for you. Also, I was chatting this morning about Wissam Ben Yedder, another player that's been linked to Arsenal today. Now, what do you guys think? If Aubameyang does leave, Ben Yedder, would that be a good replacement? He had a good season for Monaco, 18 goals, really played well. Signed from Sevilla last season for £35 million. Ben Yedder, gosh, good player, but for me, I could see him maybe if he came in to replace, say, a Lacazette. But then even then, I don't even too sure if he's much. I don't think he's better than Lacazette. To me, I think he's okay. He's a good striker, but he's not on the same grade for me as an Aubameyang. I mean, Chris Owen says Ben Yedder is getting old and nowhere near Abba. Ben Yedder, of course, he's 29, so he's no spring chicken. But linked today, good player, and then that's the other thing. The price for him, he'd be about, they're saying that they'd won about £40 million. Absolutely no chance that Arsenal would pay that. And that, again, shows you say to yourself, well, why don't we just hold on to what we've got? Why let go what we've got? You know what I mean? But Ben Yedder been linked with Arsenal today, and it'd be interesting to find out what you guys think about that as a link. Also, on this morning's show, I was talking a bit about this whole thing in France of the league getting cancelled. And of course, there's going to be no more football in France for this season until the next season. They've cancelled their league. Again, what implications could that have for Liverpool if that happens here? Because, there's no they're not giving the title to. I heard some people saying yesterday that PSG are going to get the title. From what I understand, they're not going to get the title, and there's no relegation, and the league is just voided. What implications does that have for, say, Liverpool if it doesn't get started over here? There is a real will to get it started over here. I see that La Liga are trying to get their players back into training as well, the Bundesliga as well. But if the government come out and say, that's it, then that's it. There's no league, there's no games. And surely we'd have to go the same way as those other leagues where it's just voided and nobody goes down and nobody wins the league. And, you know, then they have to work out how they decide who goes into the Champions League, Europa League, etc. But certainly it's under threat. And the other thing is, as I was saying this morning, Saliba would be eligible to come back and play. Me and DT was talking about it today on the All Guns Blazing podcast. Saliba, he's contracted to Saint Etienne until the 30th of June. The season's finished. So you conceivably could leave now. But even if it was till the end of his contract, by the time we start playing football again, which is probably going to be June, Saliba could come back and play for Arsenal. He is part of Arsenal's squad, their 49-man squad. He's registered. So he could play. So that's another little bit of a conundrum there. But it's going to be really interesting to see how that one works out. We haven't got Lewis yet. I don't know where he is. He looks like he's bottled it. But let me get into some of your comments in the meantime. Castle says, please shout out my Guna girlfriend, Alison. So big up, Alison. Big up to you. Let's get into some of your comments. Well, I don't know what's happened to this Lewis guy, right? Where is he at? Lars says, would you like Ryan Fraser at Arsenal? I would take him. He's free. Don't need Ryan Fraser. I mean, what is he, you know, I think somebody raised this yesterday. What has he done? What has Ryan Fraser done this season? He had a great season the season before. But, you know, if you've got people saying, oh, we should get rid of Lacazette because he hasn't had a great season. Player of the season last year, had an indifferent season this year. People saying get rid of him, but you want to bring in Ryan Fraser. Not just because he's on a free. He's going to want a lot of wages. And right now, we need to get those wages down. If you watch the All Guns Blazing podcast, I went through some of the wages that some of the Arsenal players are on. And I'll go for a few of them again right now. You've got obviously the Mesut Ozil on 350 grand a week. Aubameyang's on 200. Lacazette's on 180. Pepe 140. But then look at some of these. David Luiz, 125,000 pounds a week. Hector Bellerin, 110,000. Kolasinac, 100,000. Leno, 100,000. Justified. Xhaka, 100,000. Socrates, 92,000. Mustafi, 90,000. That's a lot of wages. Not to mention Mkhitaryan, who's on, I think, about 160,000 as well. El Neni on 55,000. So why we going to, he'd be on the free, but it would still be mega wages. No. We just don't need to be bringing in these players that are going to be, you know, they're average players. They're decent players. But if we're going to add a player that's going to demand a lot of wages, let's bring in quality. Mike Dennis says, Fraser or Willian, if you had to. If I had to, it'd be Willian because he's a far better player. It's on a different level to Ryan Fraser. So it would 100% have to be Willian. Willian's a good player, but it's just not what we need right now. Mergin says, do you think Fekir would be a good fit for Arsenal? Good attacking midfielder who's really physical, suits the Premier League well. I thought Fekir, you know, when Liverpool were going to buy him, I was like, wow, what a great signing. And then there was all the problems with the injuries and that. Makes you wonder, is there an injury issue with this guy? You know, I mean, why he didn't come in? You know, it makes you wonder about that. So, I listen, he's quality, but again, there's another guy that's gone and had a really poor season, really. But I wouldn't be against it. You know, we could maybe revive him and he probably wouldn't be as much as what he was initially. Danet says, why not give Ozil a golden handshake, 6 months wages and let him leave this summer to pursue another team. That's a possibility that Arsenal could do that. But again, that's a lot of money they're going to have to pay him. A lot of money. Let me see. Ozil, his annual salary is 18.2 million a year. 18,200,000 pounds. That's his annual salary from Arsenal. So even if they paid him off to leave, you know, that's half of that. That's a lot of. He really negotiated a great deal. You know, we still have to pay him like 9 million to get rid of him. To me, if that's the case, he just has to run the deal out, and then, you know. But you can see why guys like him don't want to leave. You know, they're minted. They're on a great deal right now. This man says, Robbie, if Arsenal can only only swap deals on loans, I think we should sign Willian on a free because he could provide pace on the left if Aubameyang leaves, and then we could invest the money on defence. Why? We've got Saka there. We've got Martinelli there. Don't need Willian. We don't need him. I'm really against that signing if it happens, because we just do not need Willian right now. We do not need him. You know? So let's not go there, you know? Let's not go there. Let's not be thinking of that. I know, you know, the rumours there every day, and I was going to chat to Lewis about it, but I'm not interested in Willian. I'm interested in keeping hold of Aubameyang and then going out there and seeing what else we can do to improve the squad in the meantime. Louis says, I think we need to stay away from Chelsea players. And that's true. None of them have really come and lit the place up, have they, since they've come either? That's the other thing. So, you know, I just don't get the Willian thing. Winfrey says, how would Chelsea be able to afford Aubameyang's wages when their wage bill is higher than Arsenal's? Well, they got Roman Abramovich there. I don't know how it would play out with financial fair play, etc. Certainly, they haven't spent a lot of money recently because they had that transfer ban. They've got high earners off the wage bill, like guys like Hazard and that have moved on from the club. So I'm not too sure exactly what their position is. But yeah, it would be, you know, it'd be a lot of money. It'd be a lot of money for Chelsea, but we've seen in the past they can afford it. Pego says, hi, Don Robbie. Do you think we would get any signings, and would you take Partey and lose Lacazette? I personally think we should keep him because he puts hard work in games. I want to keep Lacazette. I seem to be in a minority because everybody seems to want to offload him, but as that guy says, he puts in a shift game in, game out, even when he's not performing, and I like that in a player. I like that a player's still fighting for the badge. He doesn't just drop his head and disappear out of games. So I'll be keeping him. Ben says, where is Lewis? I don't know, man. Where's this guy? He's bottled it. He's bottled it, man. Where is he? You know? CPT Brand says, do you think Bellerin has a future at Arsenal? I do think they're going to keep Bellerin. But I think it's a big year for him as well. He's got to step up on Bellerin now. I was shocked to see that he also is on £110,000 a week. Let me just read out, right? You tell me, I just want, you know, justified. Send it back to me in the comments whether you think these wages are justified, right? Ozil, 350 grand a week. Is that justified? Aubameyang, £200,000 a week. Is that justified? Lacazette, 180,000. Justified or not? We leave out Pepe because he's just arrived. David Luiz, well, I'll mention him because he's an experienced player. 125,000 a week. Is that justified? Bellerin, 110,000 a week. Is that justified? Kolasinac, 100,000 a week. Is that justified? Xhaka, 100,000 a week. Is that justified? Socrates, 92,000. And Mustafi, 90,000. Are those wages justified? Who has earned, out of all those names I've just read out, who has earned those wages? I'll really be able to, you know, let me know who you think earned them, has earned those wages, you know? This guy is saying, imagine Pulisic, Aubameyang, and Ziyech. I don't want to imagine that. That'd be bad news. Let's get this one here. This guy says only Aubameyang. It's the only one he says is justified. Lone Star Londoner is saying only Aubameyang and Leno are justified in getting that money. Ali B says Xhaka. Are you sure? You sure he's earned that? That's what that. Oh, sorry, I just missed that one. Put it this way, not a lot of you are saying that anybody is justified apart from, again, Aubameyang and Leno justified only. So you see there's a lot of players on big money at Arsenal who are not right now. They're not earning it. They're not earning it. They're not justifying that wage. Now, this guy calls himself Bert Leno and says, Robbie, which Arsenal player do you think has the biggest... All right, mate. Biggest wage pack? It is definitely Ozil. 350 grand's worth. And Crabble says, the Blues can jog on offering us their expired players. Hey, listen, that's what I feel. And that's what I was going to tackle Lewis on today. But I can't, where is he? This guy says, Aubameyang, Leno, and Xhaka are the only ones who are justified. This guy, Esme, says, Mane earns £150,000 a week, the same as Pepe. Yeah, well, Pepe earns 145,000, so that's slightly less, but, and this guy also says, Georgie says, Pepe 140 grand a week flop. It is his first season, though. That's what next season is going to be the big one for Pepe. That's when there's going to be no excuses. That's when everybody's going to be like looking and saying, right, listen, we want to see you now. You've had your season to settle in. It takes, it can take a season to settle in. You've had that. What are you going to do now? And it's going to be a massive season for Pepe. He's got a lot to live up to. And as I said, no excuses for him. So big season for him. Dr. Viraj says, our defenders do not deserve those kind of wages. Big wages they're on. I don't think everybody realizes some of the money that these guys, John B also says, Mane earns less than Mkhitaryan. It's got it all summed up there. It's all summed up there. Read that again. Mane at Liverpool earns less than Mkhitaryan. And we wonder what why we're in such trouble with transfers and why we can't get certain people, etc., etc. That's it. That's the reason why. We've got too many underperforming players at the club, and that is one of the biggest problems. Esme says, what are the inside scoops saying about transfers? P.S. I would keep Laka. Imagine when all the front three are on form inside this division. Listen, there is lots of the inside scoops. There are no inside scoops at the moment. Just lots and lots of rumors flying around. Some of them without justification. And also, I mean, what I would love Arsenal to do is just put this Aubameyang thing to bed. Just like, just get that sorted. I'd really love to see him do that. Vivan says, would you take Alexis back? No. What for? He's gone to Manchester United. He's been an absolute flop. He's gone to Inter Milan. He's got injured. And I just think that he's not the same player. I think he's gone. It's gone. It's not the same player no more. So we had a great time with him. He's made his move. It's not worked out. And no, I wouldn't have him back. Mohammed said Lacazette 100% not when he's talking about wages. He says Aubameyang deserves better if we don't make some signings. So, and his guy says, geez, Nicolas Pepe, he can't believe the wages that Nicolas Pepe's on. A lot of money Nicolas Pepe's on. Hemel says, where is this Lewis brother? He's bottled it. I don't know what to say, man. He knew the time. He's every single body person who's come on has joined the stream, and I don't know what's happened to him. He was all enthusiastic about it earlier. Maybe got a bit nervous. So he's coming into our domain here on Arsenal and thought, I'm a bit nervous, a bit scared. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he might pop in. I might have to check my phone and just see if he where he's at. You know what I mean? But I can't get hold of him at the moment. Papos says, if we sell Aubameyang and Saka, I am boycotting. And the questions will be to the board. Time after time, I'm getting pissed off now. And you're not the only one, mate. You're not the only one. But it could happen. It could happen. Arnav says Lewis is in hiding because Chelsea are worse than Arsenal. Oh, dear. Lewis, mate, you better join this stream. Mate. You're getting some serious stick here now. Serious stick. See, Vincent, he says Rob Holding needs to go. And again, Rob Holding, let me see what wages Rob Holding's on at the moment. It's really interesting when I was sort of going through the wages. And you got to watch that. Make sure you watch the All Guns Blazing podcast that we did today, because we kind of had a look at the wages, and it was a bit, surprising some of the wages players are on. Rob Holding is not on a lot of money. He's like one of the lowest earners at the club. He's only on £25,000 a week, so he's not on a lot of money. So he's not a high earner. So that's the sort of player that might be worth keeping. Getting back to fitness, and he could be worth a lot more, but certainly he was heading in the right direction, wasn't he? And it's just injuries that has done him. Al Gunner says, Robbie, what do you think about Mavropanos? We still have Mavropanos on the list, who has had a great few games since his loan to FC Nuremberg. I haven't really seen what he's done at Nuremberg. Of course, he's gone there on loan. But I don't know what you guys feel about him, man. To me, I don't know. I've not really seen anything that makes me think he's going to be a top player. That's my opinion. With Mavropanos. Ty Khan says, Don Robbie, why do Arsenal fans worry about wages? You're supposed to be a big club. Oh, he disappeared on me there. All right, I'll see if I can find that one back. We worry about wages because we know that, to enable us to bring people in, those wages need to come down. I think I did this one already. Crabber, he says, the Blues can jog on offering us expired players. And he says, Don Robbie, please big up my bro, Nathaniel, for me. So big up Nathaniel, enough respect due to you. But yeah, the Mavropanos thing, I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm not feeling him, man. He's just not. He's been very, very unlucky, because since he's come in, he's had one whirl of injuries. But I've not seen, what's. We've got nothing out of him since he's joined. That's the hard truth about it. Yijon says, when Saliba comes and plays, who would you start with him? Well, first of all, does Saliba start? He's got to earn his stripes. Remember, Saliba's a kid, We got to remember that. A lot of people are looking on it like, we got Van Dijk arriving. Saliba's, 20? So Saliba's a kid. He's a youngster. So for me, let's be patient with him. He's not going to come in and be instantly that guy. So I think he needs to come in and earn his place in that back four. I don't think he just walks straight into it, in my opinion. Mergin says, how is it that we can't lose the players we want to lose and keep losing the players that we want to stay? Are we really a big club? Well, the reason why we can't lose a lot of the players that we want to, because they're on ridiculous wages. Run through it again. You're a club. I want to put this conundrum out there to you. You're a club. You're a football club. You're going to sign Ozil. Ozil wants he's on 350 grand a week. He's going to want the same amount of money when you sign him or similar. Are you going to pay him 300 grand a week? Would you pay him 100 grand a week right now, Ozil? So Ozil knows that. He's not going to leave until his contract runs out. Basically, we've got a lot of players that are putting in very average performances that are on mega wage. They're on Champions League player wages, and they're not Champions League players at the moment. You know, they're not even they're Europa League players, and they're getting Champions League wages. So Trent says, Robbie, apart from Partey, who has excited you as a potential signing that we've been linked with? Not many for me. Upamecano, obviously, you know, we've been linked with him. That excites me. I don't think it's going to happen, but that would excite me if something like that happens. You know, I'd be very excited by a signing like that. But apart from that, like you said, I think fair play to you, Trent. There's not a lot of players out there that I'm looking at that we're getting linked to. I mean, like we said today, Ben Yedder, he's had a great season. He's a good player. I've followed him over the years. He's a good player, but it doesn't excite me. He's not an Aubameyang. Doesn't excite me at all. So, no. Shree says, Robbie, UEFA and the FA of countries are discussing the possibility of completing this season and changing the season's schedule, starting all coming seasons from January to adjust to the 2022 World Cup force. That's something worth exploring, because remember, in the 2022 World Cup, the season's going to get disturbed anyway, because we're playing the World Cup in Qatar. You can only play over in Qatar. You can't play in the summer in Qatar. It's about going up towards 50 degrees. Every player would burn to cinders. So there's no way you could play outside. So the World Cup is going to be played in January. So it will be disturbed in 2022. So if it was disturbed the year, you know, in 2021, it doesn't really, 2021 doesn't really make a difference, does it? Because it gets us used to what's going to happen the year after. I think it's, definitely something to look at. With the coronavirus, we don't know what's going to happen right now. And that's the thing. We're still in a real situation of uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if the league is going to start at all. The hope is that it is. They've got this project start the season, but it's still uncertain until the cases start dropping down, until we've got testing and stuff like that, which we don't have at the moment. I don't see how the season can start. Again, watch the All Guns Blazing podcast that we did today. DT makes some great points. What if a player goes out there and anything happens to him and he contracts coronavirus? We're just back to square one again. So there's a lot of uncertainty around at the moment, and they've definitely got to explore options of maybe starting the season a lot later. Definitely. Aniket says, Arsenal are preparing to accept a bid of around 30 million from Inter for Aubameyang. Upamecano has agreed personal terms with Bayern. Is that right? Listen, man, there's so many rumors. Where are Inter going to get the money to? I mean, they couldn't do that until the season was finished anyway. They still got to sort out what's going to happen with their players. They've got some good strikers there. They still got Icardi to come back. They've got a high wage bill. I'm telling you, it's some of these things are just pure. I read some stories, and it's pure. These stories have just been written with no basis. And they are absolutely pure speculation. I can tell you that. I see these stories day in, day out. I've been doing this thing for a long time now. And you can see when a story basically has just been made up. And there's a lot of them out there at the moment, made up stories. I'm being honest with you. Capo says, Don Robbie, why doesn't anyone rate Holding anymore? He was our best defender before his injury last year, and it takes time to get back. Also, everyone was rating Chambers. Shall we forget him? I don't think it's that people don't rate Holding. I just think that obviously with the injury, he has not recovered back that form. In the games that I've seen him play, he's looked very uncomfortable. He doesn't look like he's got fully over the injury yet. It takes time when you get these bad injuries. It's so unfortunate. So unfortunate. But, it is what he can still have time to bounce back, but I still think he's a top player. But at the moment, he's going through a really, really tough time, and it's going to take him time to get his form back, unfortunately, and we're just going to have to be patient. But patient is a thing, you know. It's a very short demand nowadays. Sergio with a super chat here. I can't get it up on the screen, but he says sell Aubameyang. He's mercenary. If he was really interested, he wouldn't wait this long to sign the contract. Wow, Sergio's going in. Yeah, but Sergio, how do you know? We don't even know the situation. We don't even know the situation. We don't even know if has Arsenal even offered him a deal yet. That's the other thing. Have they even offered him a contract yet? We do not know that. So I think we can't call him a mercenary. If he goes to Chelsea, he's a mercenary, definitely. But we can't call him a mercenary yet. He's a guy's trying to look after his future. We don't know what sort of deal Arsenal have offered him. We don't even know if Arsenal have offered him a contract extension yet. We don't know. No, they haven't said anything. Southforce says we need to get rid of David Luiz. He's old and taking up too much money. Get rid of him like what Chelsea did. And when you see those wages, he's on a lot of money, man. Jeez. I mean, he wasn't a very. You see, this is one of the things as well that happens in football is that when you buy a player and it's a very low transfer fee, the player demands higher wages because he's like, well, you know what, you're getting me on the cheap, so you haven't had to fork out 40 million, but I want this amount per year. So you know the player can negotiate a better deal for wages. And that's exactly what David Luiz has done. And again, not a player that is living up to that price tag at the moment. Archie Young says, hi, Don Robbie, your thoughts on Edouard as a potential striker? He's good, he's decent. And you then start to see, when you see the wages that a lot of the players are on, you start to see why Arsenal are getting linked with players like Edouard, because I don't know what Edouard is on at Celtic, but I can tell you that it is definitely not 100 grand a week. It is definitely not probably 50 grand a week, because they don't pay that sort of money up there in Scotland. He's probably on about your 25s, 30s, which means that Arsenal could get him to come and probably, you know, get him for a 60 million or something like that. Because if you look at some of the players they bought in recent times, they're not on that sort of money. A lot of these players that I described that are on those big wages are players that have been here for quite a long time. Only really Leno is on quite a lot. He's on £100,000 a week. But look at somebody like Torreira. He's only on £75,000 a week. You know, Guendouzi's on 40 grand a week. And I think they did top up Guendouzi's money when he sort of got into the first team and was sort of, you know, on a regular basis. So Edouard would be a much cheaper option than some of the players that we've got. And it is a juggling exercise right now at Arsenal because, you know, I know somebody was saying earlier, why do we always go on about wages and stuff like that? But the thing is about it is that there's a pool of money and Arsenal are unable to buy some of these top players now because they're already paying out high wages to some very average players. Let's have it right. AutoZone 08 says, hi, Robbie, please shout me out, watching from South Africa. And would you take Doucouré? I would take Doucouré. I really like Doucouré as a player. He's a very, very good player. So I would definitely get Doucouré in. I think he's quality. Nino says, Chambers and Saliba start for me. Loan or sell holding. Keep Luiz for backup. Socrates can go and give Ainsley Maitland-Niles a chance. Okay. So this guy says, get Lewis in. Well, listen, we'll be trying to find this guy, man. Let me see if he's messaged me. I honestly started to think he's bottled it. Let me message him again. Yeah, he's not answering. I think he's got cold feet. Bottled it, man. Chelsea. Bottle jobs. This guy's saying, call him, Robbie. Call him. I've tried calling him. Shall I try calling him? Hold on. Let me see if I try calling him. Hold on.
Can't take your call right now.
Just leave you a message after the tone.
And when you're done, press hash or just hang up.
Yo, Lewis, it's Robbie, man. What happened? You're supposed to be on the show. You bottled it. You're live on air right now. Live to to the world right now. And, you know, I keep ringing you and I keep getting your answer machine. I sent you the links and that. Just tell me if you haven't, you've got about another 15 minutes to jump into the stream, or officially to the world, they will know that you bottled it. Okay? All right, take it easy, bro. Well, we see if he comes in. Right? Maybe he fell asleep or something. I don't know. It's weird times at the moment, man. People's are falling asleep and not even realizing what time it is. But spoke to him today and he was coming in. He was well enthusiastic about coming in to defend Chelsea. So it's a bit strange. Sophania says, Robbie, who is doing the payroll at Arsenal, needs to get fired. And he's from DC. Nice to hear from you, mate. I'll tell you what. Listen, Ambessa says, we want Lewis. Listen, the thing is, a lot of those signings are historically from the Wenger times. Let's just go through it quickly again. Mesut Ozil, Wenger days, they gave him the pay rise. Well, let's say Gazidis. Aubameyang, that would have been Gazidis negotiated that. Lacazette, Gazidis, 180 grand a week. Pepe, that's a recent deal, the new regime. David Luiz, that's the new regime. So don't blame that one on them. Hector Bellerin, Gazidis would have sanctioned that. Kolasinac, 100 grand a week. That would have been sanctioned by the previous regime. Leno, the new guys. Xhaka, old regime. Socrates, old regime. Mustafi, old regime. Torreira, new regime. Some of those very average players are getting big money. It's more the old regime that sort of financed that. So Liam Sai says he's a Chelsea fan. He's on about Lewis. Probably has nothing to say. Yeah, it sounds like that. It sounds like that. And this guy, Osposi says, Gazidis has destroyed us. Certainly, he's left us in an absolute mess. He has. He's left us in an absolute mess. Riffs is saying, hi, Robbie. If Aubameyang was to leave, would you take back Alexis Sanchez? Why do people keep asking me this? No. Why? Why would we take back Alexis Sanchez for? What for? Let's stay at Man United, man. No, we don't want that guy nowhere near. He's done his thing. No. We're not just taking back these players for the... No. Roger says... and he's with a super chat. Sorry, the super chat is not jumping on the screen, but listen, appreciate it. Appreciate it, Roger. Roger Lai. He says, I was a big fan of Ozil before, but I was so disappointed with him recently. I don't even hate him for commenting on China. And I don't get the last bit he says, but he's very unhappy with Ozil. He's I think he's from Hong Kong. Very unhappy with Ozil because Ozil didn't take that pay cut. Lone Star Londoner says, surely Aubameyang can wait and see before he decides to commit or otherwise. COVID-19 will change the landscape of football. What will clubs' transfer strategy? Big fees unlikely, swap deals likely. And do you know what? There's not a lot of transfer activity going on at the moment because the season's not really finished yet. You know? So, you know, I saw today that Papagay, he's signed a pre-agreement with Watford. But apart from that, you know, we're not in transfer season yet. The season's not done yet. So, you know, maybe it's because, you know, there's such a shortage of news out there to really talk about that a lot of these transfer stuff's being talked up. So, Ralph Lewis says, Robbie, give Sophie a call instead. We've got Sophie lined up to come on very soon. So Sophie will be coming on. Peter says, who needs Lewis? Robbie, call up troops. Now, probably he's harder to get older than Lewis. I'll tell you. He's harder to get older than that would take about 10 calls, I'll tell you that. Shrey says, Robbie, would you take Shah from Newcastle, Holgate and Gomez from Everton, Mertens and Gertz on a free? Why are Arsenal not going after David Silva? he'll be one of the best players in our team at 34. No, we don't need David Silva. I mean, David Silva's going back. He said he wants to go back to Spain anyway. And we don't, he's a great player, but 34, no. And again, cast-offs again. No. Shah's a decent player, but it's not better than what we've got. Just the same sort of level, no. Holgate and Gomez, well, Gomez, I think, is an exceptional player. I would definitely have him, but Everton ain't short of money no more. There's no way they're going to sell Gomez. I think Gomez is one of the most underrated midfielders in the league. He's a superb player, and he's recovered from his injury brilliantly. Holgate, I'm not too sure on. Mertens, 33, 34, too old. Goetze, nah. I know he'd be on a free, but no. What's he got? No. Done out here. Yannick Carrasco at Arsenal, says Alexander. Sorry, it says Alexander Carlson. No. I think the Yannick Carrasco thing, that boat sailed, and we don't need wingers. We've got good wingers at the moment. I don't think, let's spend it in the areas where we need it. Let's not make that mistake like we did in the summer. We went in for Pepe, when really we should have been going for defenders first. I was for the Pepe thing, and it was exciting, but we should have been going for defenders first and foremost. Shalom says, hi, Robbie. Umtiti wages are too big for us. Do you even think that we'll go in and sign a top player of top quality because of the wages? Well, we read today that Arsenal and Mikel Arteta, basically, the board are saying to him, get creative this summer because the money ain't going to be there. Get loan deals, swap deals, cheap deals. We ain't going to be getting no big, expensive player. That's my opinion. I don't think Arsenal are going to be going out there and buying those big names that everybody really wants to see. I just don't see it happening. So they're going to have to get very creative. Krabel says, Don Robbie, big up my bro Nathaniel and Hamid for me. Just did it, Nathaniel and Hamid. Big up yourself. Mr. Rotten says, call DT. Well, listen, I've had enough of DT. I've had him all day. I mean, we did the All Guns Blazing podcast earlier on. No, there's only so much of him I can take for the day. I'm only joking, DT. Got another super chat here, but I can't locate it. The super chats, I apologize. Some of the super chats are coming up on the big. Here it is. I've got it. Luzzy says, what do you think of Guendouzi? Future great or just thrived in chaos under Emery? Also, would you risk bringing Ceballos after so few minutes? Ceballos has been making it quite, out there, quite vocal, talking about how he wants to go back to Real Madrid. And if he wants to go back to Real Madrid, then we need to look for somebody else. Guendouzi, I think, is a great prospect. It's a great... Lewis is ringing my phone now. Hold on a minute. Yeah, where are you, bro? I'm actually live on the air at the moment and I'm talking to you. Where are you? You jumping in now? All right, come on. Come in. Right, he just said he's jumping in now, right? He didn't give me the reason. He just said he really effed up, but he's jumping in now. So hopefully we'll have Lewis on in a minute. But yeah, Guendouzi, I rate Guendouzi. And I think, I like the way that kid shows leadership. I like the way that, he demands the ball. And I think he's a great prospect. And I think he's going to be a top player. And he's still very young. He's 19, 20. And very rare do you see a player of that age who, is so confident. So I do really, really like him. Roger says, Robbie, do you think after the Cazorla departure, without supporting Ozil's struggles, with helping him with a CDM to pass and his fantastic killer pass less? I think what he's trying to say there, Roger, is that when Cazorla left, Cazorla used to, and he makes a great point here, Cazorla used to play deep lying, great with both feet, and helped Ozil a lot with control. After he's left, we didn't get a sort of a defensive midfielder in to protect Ozil and we've not always been playing to the strengths of Ozil. But then what I would then also add is that Ozil then needed to adapt his game a bit more, and he didn't. He hasn't adapted his game, so still underperformed for me. EJ says, how about Ake with Saliba at the back of our team? I think we need to get him if we can't get Upamecano. I like Nathan Ake. I think he's a very, very good player. Again, there'd be a lot of money, and I just don't see that happening. And I don't see Bournemouth, unless they was to get relegated, I don't think they'd be looking to sell Ake at the moment because he's a top player. Mr. Rotten says, I'm from Spain and I watch Fekir a lot at Real Betis. He's quality. Yeah, again, it was a real strange one when he ended up going to Real Betis, because you're like, Fekir, all the top clubs in Europe were looking for him, and then he ended up at Real Betis. But he is quality. You know, does he deserve enough a chance in the Premier League? Robbie, Arsenal should first go for our owners and then go and buy new players. List Kroenke on eBay. And we probably have to pay instead of the buyer for Kroenke. Still waiting on Lewis, man. He ain't got. He's still getting that link. He's coming in late, but listen, better late than never. Better late than never. Jake says, what position do you think Arteta needs to focus on first? Defense and defensive midfielder, but if we keep Torreira, defense. Defense. The defense is not good enough. That's why we are where we are. Attacking wise, we're good. Defense is not good enough. We haven't had enough width. The centre backs haven't been good enough. Defense. That's been the problem. Imagine if Arsenal was a team that had a solid defense. Where would we be? But the defense is just not good enough. Arsenal 14 Forever says, Robbie, ask Lewis which player from Arsenal would he bring to Chelsea other than Aubameyang? Well, I'll ask him if he comes in. Still waiting on him. These Chelsea guys, they think they can come on our Arsenal channel and keep us waiting like this, man. What's up with these, man? Huh? Say it says, I would love to see us get a player like Ake, Aarons from Norwich, Decore from Watford, Edouard, and sell Bellerin, Xhaka, Mustafi, Mkhitaryan, and El Neni. So he's on a right clear out there. Matthew Virgo says, what's going on with Troops? It's cool as far as I know. You know. Holden says, what's up, Robbie? Met you in Charlotte during the pre-season and I appreciate you taking the time for the picture. Do you think Arsenal will realistically ever win the Champions League in our lifetime? If so, how? Soon. Do you know, Holden, it's very hard to say because look at Liverpool. Speak to any Liverpool fan. Before Klopp coming, they were absolute mess of a club. They were all over the shop. And now they've won the Champions League again. They're dominating the league. Things can turn around if you get the right manager in place, if you get the right team in place, and that team's playing to a system. So I wouldn't want to say we'll never win it in our lifetime or nothing like that, because that we can do. But I think we're a couple of years away at least, because Arteta's going to need to get his own team. He's not going to be able to do that this summer, for sure, because of what's happening with the coronavirus and that. It's going to be next summer. That's going to be the big one for him. That's when a lot of those high earners are going to come off of the wage bill. And maybe that will be the opportunity then. But until then, we're nowhere near it. Lassana fan says, please shout out to people in South Africa. We're also going through the coronavirus, Robbie. He says, big up to everybody everyone over there in South Africa, to everyone who's going through this. The whole world at the moment is suffering from this thing. It's not just over here in the UK. So, yeah, we're all going through it. We'll see Lewis again now. Oh, no, he says to me, he's just setting up his mic. What is the man? Come on, keep people waiting. Oh, oh my gosh. Bottle job, says Stan Kroenke. Now he should be here shortly. He should be here shortly. Right. Let's keep whilst he gets himself set up. Let's keep those comments coming in. Ishmael says, "Don't forget Somalia too, mate." I know. Listen, it's the whole world right now that's really suffering from this. So everybody over there in Somalia, big up, man. Trust me, my heart goes out to it. And do you know what? As well, we're going through it here, and it's terrible. And we've got better facilities than a lot of other countries. We've got a better hospital and better hospitals and that than a lot of countries that are affected by this. So, you know, my heart goes out to everybody out there who's suffering at the moment. This is rough, this coronavirus thing, man. And it's going to take the whole world effort to, you know, get rid of it. Trent says, Robbie, who would you rather, Klopp or Pep? It wasn't me who was asked this the other day. Somebody else was asked it, but I said Pep. For me, Pep, just about. I love Klopp, but I'll probably go Pep. Now, look, he's here. At last. There he is.
Yes, bro. Really sorry about that.
Where you been? What's up? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Sorry, man. Yeah, bro. Look, I set an alarm for it, but here's what happened. A week ago, I dropped my fucking phone in the toilet. And since then, it's been overheating like mad. So, really sorry about that.
That's the worst excuse I've ever heard. You drop your phone in the toilet.
Bro, it's a madness. Listen, I put it on the shelf, right? And imagine it just slides off and I see it just drop into the toilet and just see bare bubbles coming out. I ain't been the same since. It's kind of been a good thing that we're in lockdown. I wouldn't be able to vlog anymore.
Oh my God. How you doing anyway, man? You're here now, so
I'm
how you
good,
doing?
but it's more or less the same. It's like lockdown, isn't it? All you just do is the same things every day. I'm just rushing through trying to get my coursework done. What about you? How you been?
Boy, I've been keeping busy with these streams and, you know what I mean? And it's obviously like you know what I mean? Just being, you feel trapped. You want to get, I feel now like I want to get out. I'm like, yo, let me out, man. I feel like I'm under house arrest. But
same. I only let out for 2 hours to do exercise.
Yeah, but it's listen, it's what it is, man. We have to do it. But listen, I'm glad you got on, even though we're nearly at the end. But I'm glad that you got on. And the big question is, and as this guy, he's straight in there. He says, Chelsea fans, hands off our Aubameyang. Right now, is there anything in this? Did Chelsea want Aubameyang?
I think there's a little bit in there. It's only because. Now, you've seen the recent history of both of us. You see what players are going one way and which players are going the other way. So I'm thinking, like, there's something to this. And Aubameyang to Chelsea is a deal that really does suit us. We need a short-term striker so we can still focus on our long-term youth project. And Aubameyang fits the deal. He's 30 years old. He's Premier League proven, and he knows where the back of the net is. I'm not going to lie, I'll gladly take him. Even though I probably said some words about him recently, I'd still take him because over the last couple of years, we've had such a poor attack. And I think our biggest problem has been that we can create plenty and plenty of chances. We've got nobody that can put him in the back of the net. And Aubameyang's that player that knows where the back of the net is. So, yeah, of course I'm going to take Aubameyang. I don't think there's a lot to it, but it all depends on how much Aubameyang really wants to stay in London.
Yeah, I saw the other day that Chelsea looking to give Giroud an extension. Right,
I think we've already done it.
Tammy Abrahams, sorry?
I think we've already done it. I think we've extended it one more year now.
Yeah, so if you're keeping him, you're obviously going to keep Tammy Abrahams. I mean, would you have the wages capacity to bring in an Aubameyang? Because he'd be a high earner. I mean, he's on 200 grand a week at Arsenal. He's obviously looking for probably more money. Would you have the wage capacity to meet that under the financial fair play rules and that? I mean, you guys have already fallen foul of other rules. So
I think, aren't those rules going to get relaxed for the summer, though, because this whole situation?
Not.
I swear I heard they were getting relaxed.
Yeah,
it's going to be a bit more lenient. I'd love it to get relaxed, especially after the last couple seasons. But you do have a fair point with the wage deal. That's going to really mess up our wage band. I think he'll be our highest earner if he joins anyway. But Loki, I still think it would be worth the risks. I think short term, this is a guy that's going to take us to the next level. Because the one thing that you need as a potential title winner is a good striker. And Aubameyang is a striker that fits the deal. I think the rest of our team is growing at a point where if we have a striker that's good enough, the rest will probably grow up to that standard as well. We just need someone that can put the ball in the back of the net consistently, because it's been something that we missed since Diego Costa's been gone.
But the other thing is as well, though, I mean, are Chelsea much better? You are better than us at the moment. The table tells us that, yeah? But you ain't much better. You're slightly better than us, in my opinion.
I wouldn't.
As we saw in the 2 games that we played against each other. You robbed us in the first one.
I'd give you the attack, but that's about it.
Huh?
I'll give you the attack, but that's about it. Defense, I think we got over you. Midfield, I think we got over you. I think Leno's had a better season than Kepa, but I think next season Kepa will have a better season than Leno.
No, Leno's much better than Kepa. And your defense...
This season only.
Your defense... It's not much better than ours, is it? You've leaked a load of goals this season as well.
Not much better, but I'd still say it's better.
That's what I'm just saying.
I think there's more potential behind ours.
What I look at, right, what I'm looking at, I'm saying to Aubameyang, obviously 30, he might be looking at it and saying, well, you know what, I'm coming towards the end of my career now, 30, I've probably got about 4 years left. This is my last big contract. And I'd like to win a title. And so when I'm saying that, I'm not trying to diss Chelsea, but I'm just saying, if he's looking at it that way, he says, I'd like to win a title. You guys are not really close to winning a title either. That's what I'm saying. Now, I look on it, I think, yeah, I could understand if he went to Barcelona's or Real Madrid, or if Liverpool came in for him, or, you know, City. But going to you guys, the only reason I could see would be more money, because you're not closer. You're not that much closer to winning a title than we are.
We are a bit far off, I will say that. But even in that, I think we're only a couple players off contending. I think off winning the whole title, I think we need a couple more players than that. But realistically, if we're talking about giving Liverpool and City a fighting chance for a title, I think all we really need is another striker, another winger, maybe another defender, and I think we could go and do it. Right,
and then the other thing is now, when we are in coming back the other way now, Willian. Right, which I'm not excited about at all if that was to happen. I mean, it's at the moment it's all speculation, but I mean, is he still? I
swear if Aubameyang goes one way and Willian goes the other, I don't want to hear London is red for at least the next 5 years.
See,
I don't want to hear it.
I hope the Arsenal board are watching this. When you hear what these Chelsea guys saying there now, I mean, this is why we can't afford to let this happen. But with Willian,
Willian's a great player, brilliant.
Has he still got it?
He's got experience.
No, has he still got it? I know that over the years he has been a fantastic player, but is he still got it? Is he still a top player?
I mean, well, he has his good games. I mean, those Spurs away, there was a great performance there. I think Everton, our last game before the league got postponed, he had a great game. But, I mean, it's just Willian, though. He has one good game and then about 10 other bad ones. Like, he literally Mr. Inconsistent.
That is exactly.
He's still a great dribbler of the ball. He could drive the ball forward. But my one frustrating thing with Willian has been as soon as he gets to that final third, the man is like a deer in the headlights. He just sits there, he just freezes for a little bit and then just pauses the entire attack. You lot are going to get used to that if he's there. You lot are really going to have to get used to them sorts of Willian games if that happens. What is it? It's just you lot need another winger or what?
No, we don't need. That's the thing. We don't need a winger. I think it's just. I think a lot of it's to do with the fact that Willian's agent, Kia Jarapchin, is very close to the guys at Arsenal, and maybe that's where the link's sort of coming in. But we do not need a winger. We've got good wingers.
I don't see why you lot need Willian, to be honest. If you don't want to take him, go for it.
No, I don't want him. I don't want Willian. You know what I mean? Willian can, I think he's been over the years been a fantastic player, but what you just said is what I've been saying. It's a very inconsistent. What I can see over recent years, anyway, very inconsistent.
Wait till you see them corners, bro. Honestly, wait till you see those corners.
And we don't need no more players who can't take corners either. We got enough of those. You know what I'm saying?
Take one of us.
No, I don't. Nah, man. I'm not. We can't have no more of these
You can
Chelsea players.
see the fume already next season.
Huh?
I can see the fume next season already if you sign him. Because the guy's aging as well. I don't get this transfer. If you lot do it, you deserve all the retirement home memes that are coming your way. Honestly, if you lot make this transfer. Because it don't make sense, especially if you lot are trying to progress as a club. You're signing 32-year-old, I don't want to say scrap from Chelsea, but you're signing an aging player from Chelsea, if we're being honest, and he's not going to develop your team.
I don't think it's going to happen. Let's get some comments. Eden, obviously a Chelsea fan, right? He says, Eden 10 says, Chelsea or Arsenal, who win the Premier League first?
The one in the better position, though. I mean, even you're going to say it'll probably be Chelsea that wins it next before Arsenal. Unless you're thinking something different.
Do you know what? I mean, we ain't going to win it. We definitely won't win it next season. Because, as I've just been describing, we've got so many players that we need to move on. But they're on very, very high wages. And they're coming towards the end of their contract. And I think they're just going to stay. So it's going to take for those guys to move out. Then I can then give a clearer picture of that when I see what Mikel Arteta brings in next year. But I'm pleased with Arteta. I think he's got Arsenal playing very well. I don't think at this moment in time, I don't think there's a big difference between us and you guys. Yes, I'd agree. You probably got a slightly better defense. I'd say your midfield is better. But we got a better attack. So there's not a lot in it. As we saw in the two, I think it was illustrated in the two games. In the first game, you narrowly won that mistake by Leno, goal scored by a guy.
Don't say red card. Don't say red card.
What do you mean?
I know that was coming out as well.
Shouldn't it be a red card? It was a red card, wasn't it?
Should David Luiz's kick on Kante have been a red card?
Oh, listen, man. Just answer the question. Was that a red card? Was it Jorginho? When he pulled back the man right in front of the referee, I've never seen nothing like that in my life.
It was as much of a red card as the boot from Luiz onto N'Golo in front of the referee's eyes as well.
That wasn't a red card. And then the man goes on to score the winning goal or score a goal. So, no. But that game and then the second game, we were down to 10 men. They were both very, very close games, right? And you guys edged it, right? And that's where I think we're at. I think that if I'm being completely honest at the moment, I think at the moment you guys are the slightly better team, but there's not a lot in it. There's not a lot in it for me, and I think that I like Arteta, and I think if he can get, it won't be next season, but once we've got some of these massive earners like Ozil and that off the wage bill, I'd like to think that we could. So possibly I'll have to answer that guy's question and say Chelsea would win it before we do. But it's all going to be what Arteta does after next season. What do you think?
Yeah, to be fair, I do rate Arteta, and I really respect the way he handled that home game at the Bridge against us. But I think your game management against us was 10 times better than us, and if anything, it exposed how complacent we've been throughout the entire season. So I do respect Arteta, and I've looking at his game plan, looking at his philosophy of you guys have, even in the position that you're in, you guys are still improved under him. But do I think it's tight between us? Yeah, I'd say it's a bit tight. Yeah, between both of us. Yeah. Because even the first leg was a bit.
Here's a question for you: Arteta or Lampard? Oh,
it's biased. Sorry, I'm saying Lampard.
I'm going Arteta. Lampard has done.
They're two very young managers, but
yeah.
Sorry, bias. I'm going to have to say Lampard.
Yeah. All right. What about this one from Spiro? He says Lacazette or Abraham.
Tammy, and I think even you're going to say Tammy on this one. No, Lacazette's dropped off this season.
He's had a poor season, but he's better than Tammy Abrahams, right?
Really depends on how low his stocks drop, because the amount of people I've seen turn on Lacazette this season.
Not me. And I'm not turning on him because you know what I like about Lacazette? I keep saying it, right? Is that even though he has had a poor season, I can understand where some people have got annoyed with him. But the guy always puts 100% in. And that's what I want to see from my players. When it's not happening for you, which that does happen to strikers, it's happened to the best of strikers, that you still want the ball. You're not bottling it. You know what I mean? And to be fair, I've been very.
What's been going wrong with him this season then?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just not happened for him, man. Goals that he was gobbling up before, you know, and then what starts to happen is when you drop off form, you start to overthink it. That's what I think has happened to him, and that's why he's not been as sharp. But I've been very impressed with Tammy Abrahams. I remember having a big argument with Troops on one of the on the Bias Premier League show at the start of the season when Abrahams got off to that great start.
Yeah.
No, he'll fall. And I said, no, man, this guy's a good player. I loved watching him last year at Villa. He's a good player.
You better hope Chelsea Twitter don't find that footage. Still reeling off the Europa League final.
But he is a good player. Lots of them coming in. Glenn Knightley says, 3 players, I think this is for you, 3 players he'd take at Chelsea apart from Aubameyang. So 3 players you'd take from Arsenal apart from Aubameyang.
Apart from Aubameyang? Okay. Right, there ain't really a lot to pick once you take him out. But I'm trying to think about it. I guess Leno might be some decent competition for Kepa, I guess.
What do you mean decent competition for Kepa? He's better than Kepa.
Might bring him off.
He's better than Kepa.
They both bring the best out of each other. I think I'd say that.
Than Kepa. Come on, man. That guy Kepa.
Only this season. I mean, I heard a lot of talk about Leno, and I saw him fumble a punch, and Jorginho passed into an empty net at the Emirates.
That was his worst error of the season. But apart from that, he's been brilliant. He's been one of the best keepers in the league. Whereas Kepa, 80 million you lot paid for him. That's also the biggest waste of money I've ever seen. Come on, man. Be real.
Really? Even of us? I'm sure I could see about 3 more worse wastes of money from us.
That's a waste of money. Kepa.
Nah. Guy's got a 6-year contract and he's had 1 bad season. Last season, he had the 3rd highest clean sheets and he saved us through 2 penalty
Last
shootouts.
season, the man refused to come off the pitch when he was substituted in that League Cup final. It was a disgrace. He shouldn't even been playing for you lot. You should have run him after that.
Yeah, and he got benched the next game, came back and won man of the match.
This season, right, he's been getting dropped by Lampard. Lampard ain't even been playing him. How are you going to compare him to Leno? Are you lost?
And you know what that is? That's motivation, because the guy came back and he got 2 clean sheets off the bounce straight. Probably would have got 3, but then we got postponed.
No chance is Kepa better than Leno. No chance.
We could go back and forth. Man. The only thing I'll give you is that Leno's had a better season than Kepa this season.
No, he's a better keeper. He's a better keeper than Kepa. What's special about Kepa? All right, you tell me what I'm missing.
It's the same things with Leno. Leno is a great shot stopper, but the same thing is with Kepa.
No, he's not just a great all-round goalkeeper. He's good. I'd say the weakness.
The only thing that Kepa's weakness is when it comes to controlling his box. That's his only real weakness.
Kepa's poor at corners.
When it comes to controlling his box for corners, that's the only thing that he really needs to improve on. That
time when he refused to come off the pitch, I've never seen nothing like it.
I don't want to talk about that cup final because that one was a little bit of a madness. But my point still stands with everything else.
So you wouldn't take
Martinelli.
Now hold on, wait. Before we get to that, you wouldn't take no one else then. You apart from Aubameyang, so only Leno. You wouldn't want no one else.
I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that I'm missing. I don't know. Maybe take Pepe, I guess. But I don't even think I'd take anybody else, if I'm being honest.
When I look at your team, there's no. That's what I'm saying. There's not much difference because when I look at your team, Who would I take? I
I'd
think
ship half that midfield off, first of all.
I'd possibly take... I'll take Kante. I'll take
Cover?
Kovacic has been decent. He's been decent, but I'll take Kante. I'm not sure if I'd need Kovacic, but he's been decent. Up front, there's nobody I'll take.
Not even Pulisic.
Rudiger.
Actually, no, your attack's better than us. Yeah.
Up front, we don't. Rudiger, maybe.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what I'm saying.
Not even Reece James.
There's no difference really.
We're talking about and Bellerin's dropped off as well.
He has.
Even in midfield, there's a couple more names I'd take. I'd be looking at Kante, Jorginho, Kovacic. I'd even look at players like Billy Gilmore. The way Billy Gilmore started this season.
Oh, man, played 2 games, man. You're not getting carried away already. You know what I mean?
2 games and 2 man of the matches. How gassed do you lot get over Martinelli running across the whole Stamford Bridge?
How many games you see Guendouzi come in, right, and similar sort of age, and have man of the match performances as well. So just chill with that, Ute, man. You're not gonna kill off that Ute. You know what I mean? That's a one good game, man. You don't think he's Messi. Chill, man. Hudson-Odoi or Martinelli? What are you thinking?
I think right now, I'd probably give it to Martinelli.
Right now? Don't you remember when?
Right now, I probably would. After he ran the full length of Stamford Bridge with nobody challenging him.
No one could get near him, man. No one could get near him.
That's only because Kante dropped by himself. They were trying to hype up like some new Coquelin thing when Martinelli had nothing to do with it.
Kante did a Gerrard.
Kante did a Gerrard. You know what?
Yeah, Ceballos. Everyone's putting the comparison.
You had to skip that one as well.
Ceballos or Mason Mount?
Mount. Better than that spinning merchant that you guys got. Even though he has had a bit of a difficult season.
He got injured. He's a quality player, man. I think Mount's had a better season.
I've heard everyone trying to say ship him back to Real.
No, he's. I think people would take him if he came for another season. Reece James or Bellerin? This is pure comparison.
Reece James. This one's easy. This one is so easy.
See, with me, I'm honest about it. You're not, right? But I'm being honest about it.
I was honest. I gave you lot Martinelli.
All right, here's one. This is a good one.
Saka or Pulisic? I'm saying Pulisic. I think Pulisic has had a season filled with injuries. And I think even the 2-3 months where he's playing regularly for us, it was some of our best football. And he's our best winger by a mile right now.
You were sleeping, innit? And you just jumped out of your bed because I'm sorry, man. He had that game. He scored a hat trick. It's the hat trick he scored. But after he ain't done nothing after that. See, look, you even fall over.
The guy had what, 5-6 goals in about 3 games for us.
And then what's he done since?
Not much, but he's been injured most of the season.
It's a good player, but Saka's had a better season. Saka. I'm going Saka.
Saka might have had a better season, but if it's only because he's played more. Pulisic has been injured, but whenever he's played for us, he's been the winger that's shown the most threat for us. So I've got a lot of hype behind Pulisic, but I think if he can get a full season under his belt, a lot of people are going to see what he's capable of.
This guy here, I think he's dreaming of this front line for you guys: Sancho, Aubameyang, and Ziyech. I mean, do you think you guys
would? A madness.
Would you again though, Sancho? That'd be a lot. See, the thing is, we know Chelsea are capable of doing them sort of signings because Abramovich and that. But with this whole coronavirus thing and that, do you think though that even he's going to rein it in a bit?
If anything, I think it might force him to use more of his funds. Because I think the whole thing with Chelsea is that we've tried to be, ever since we won the Champions League, we've tried to become more and more sustainable as much as we can. But I think with this virus now, it's only going to get harder and harder. And if financial fair play is becoming more and more lax because of this, then just gives us more the chance to do what we were doing before. So, yeah, I could see Abramovich dipping into his pocket a little bit more. I mean, this season's forcing everybody to right now.
I've heard this thing about financial fair play being less because
I've heard some rumors about it.
Surely this is when you're going to need it because teams ain't going to be able to afford it.
Yeah, but that's why they're looking to lax the rules on it so teams can use more of their own funds.
Right.
Because they're not going to be getting as much TV money, especially with like the French league now being cancelled. More leagues now starting to get cancelled. There's less TV money going into the pockets of the clubs.
I don't know. That seems a strange one to me. To me, this would be the perfect time to start looking at salary caps and things like that, if you ask me. Here's the big one.
Really?
Glenn Kitely says, biased Chelsea fan, here he is. He says, ask him Drogba or Henry.
I like to say Henry for a league campaign, Drogba for a cup run. Just so I don't have to say Thierry Henry outright.
You know it's Thierry Henry. Drogba was
Thierry Henry.
Drogba was a great player. He used to give us a lot of I remember when I met him.
I hated him.
Why us all the time? And he started laughing. But he was a great player. But I think Thierry Henry has the edge. And funny,
Definitely.
The other thing that always hurts me about that Drogba thing is that actually we identified Drogba first when he was at Marseille. We were the club that we were interested in him.
Just another one of Wenger's I could have signed him.
Yeah, no, Arsenal were definitely looking at him. Drogba was an Arsenal fan, and we didn't move decisively. We didn't spend the money, and he ended up going to you guys. And I just think that's sort of summed us up over the past 10 years or so, you know?
More or less. The same thing happened a couple of years with Kante.
Here's another one. There's pure comparisons going on. I like this one.
Chelsea Academy or Arsenal? Chelsea Academy. Chelsea Academy. You lot would be hearing about the Academy a lot earlier if Lampard came a lot earlier.
Why is it?
It's only because we've neglected it so long.
Why Chelsea Academy?
First off, look at the talent we had now and look at how much we threatened to have an outbreak like this. But we've just never had the manager or the time or the philosophy to do it. And now we actually have all of that coming together at the right time.
Philosophy. The only reason these kids have had a chance because you had a transfer ban. What philosophy?
And a manager that would give them a chance. You needed a manager with a long-term philosophy and an owner that would give it to him. That's what we've been waiting for with both. Now we have that.
No philosophy. You had a transfer ban. You had to play him. Otherwise, would you have played Tomori and all these guys?
Would Maurizio Sarri have played him?
You would have bought man
as much as I love Sarri, would he have played him? Would he have played any of these young players? Would have been Willian and Pedro up front for 38 games?
Yeah, and no managers has played these guys. And the only reason, right, was because, you had to. You had no choice. You had to.
But you also need a manager that would be willing to take the risk.
No, but I'm saying he had to take the risk because he weren't able to buy no players.
Yeah. Hands were forced, definitely. But if this was under any other manager, I don't think it would have worked as well. You need a manager that genuinely believes in these youth players. And that's what Frank Lampard is. Lampard's been singing their praises for years.
I think we genuinely give our players a chance. We genuinely, and look at some of our youth products. Look at Saka, how brilliant he's been this season. Joe Willock, Reece Nelson. So we've got some, we've had some great kids, and we always give them a chance. Chelsea over the years, this the first time you've given them a chance because you've been forced to. I mean, this our guy Candy G says Chelsea Academy develops well, but they loan them out because they weren't given first team chances. Chelsea Academy has been near to the top in England for years. That's true. He's always had a great academy.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times you see players playing, and you go, "That guy looks good, man." He goes, "Yeah, actually, he's on Chelsea. He's on loan from Chelsea." You are how many players they got on loan? About 100 players on loan. It's like a farm.
Can't get away from us.
Lewis, this guy Matt Fox says, Lewis, what are your thoughts on Ziyech? And would you be happy with Mertens? And who else would you like?
Ziyech is going to be brilliant. I'm already looking at that left foot, and that left foot's going to be causing a madness. One thing we need anyone that can bring a decent delivery into the box, because some of the crossing, some of the corners I've seen over the last couple of years have been dreadful. And Ziyech is someone that's going to bring some sort of technique into the club at least. Mertens, I'll be real, I'm not really that into taking him. I think he's on the wrong side of 30 as well, but I think the difference between him and Aubameyang is Aubameyang's at least Premier League proven. I think Mertens is going to be much more of a risk, and I think it's going to be a risk that we don't really need to take.
All
And for who else I'd like, I'm not really sure right now. All I know is that we need at least another left back, another centre back, another winger or two, and a striker before we can really think about contending for anything.
So you definitely need a striker. See, that's the thing. And right from the beginning of this whole Aubameyang saga, when nobody was even talking up Chelsea for it, I was saying the one team that to me that needs a striker is Chelsea, and you're sort of confirming it. A lot of those other teams that were linked with Aubameyang, they don't really need a striker, or they've got strikers there. They've got quality strikers there already. So yeah. This guy says Salah and De Bruyne on loan. Laugh out loud. that was a big mistake, wasn't it?
I was actually hoping I didn't hear about De Bruyne. I thought someone would bring him up, especially when we're talking about the academy.
The two best players in the country right now.
Salah don't even vex me like that.
You got rid
poor at Chelsea.
No,
Salah was poor at Chelsea. I'm calm with that. De Bruyne was the joke. We gave Salah chances. I remember, you know that banging goal he scored against us at Anfield last season.
Yeah.
There was a game against Shrewsbury Town, right? I think the guy tried the same shot about 3-4 times, and each time it went out for a throw-in. Didn't even go on target. It went all the way out for a throw-in. And now this time he's doing it straight against us. I get he's a completely different player to that, but that Salah would not have developed at Chelsea. I think he needs to see Chelsea to receive that.
Yeah, it's really funny to certain players just develop better at other clubs. You know what I mean? You know, it's easy sometimes to say, oh, why did you let him go? And you know, we're having it now with Gnabry. I thought I'd mention him, but we're having it now with Gnabry.
Thanks.
But with Gnabry, when he was at Arsenal, he was doing well. But look, he went. Like, we've sent him out on loan to West Brom, and they didn't even want to play him there. They were saying that he's not very good, he's too fat and stuff. Now he's one of the best players in Europe. You know, so
it all depends on your surroundings. Sometimes you got to leave and you got to like start again from scratch, rebuild yourself. That's what Gnabry's done. That's what Salah's done. They come back as stronger players.
Yeah, that's what when you talk about two that got away, it's definitely those two. Let's get some more in. I'm going to get a few more in because we are coming towards the end of the stream. Unfortunately, Lewis did join a bit late, but listen, it's great to have you on board, man. It's great to have you here.
Yeah.
You'll see.
It's my bad, isn't it?
You'll see when you watch back the video that I was there talking. They kept asking me to call you, so I actually called you, and your answer machine came up, and I was going, "Yo, I'm still bottling it, man. Get on it."
Fucking hell.
It's all banter, bro. It's all banter, man. Yeah, it's all banter. Because I was thinking, I spoke to him today and he said, yeah, man, cool, let's do this. You know, and I know you're normally reliable. So I was like, I wonder if something's actually happened to him. I was worried for you, mate.
Bro, we'll talk about it off the camera, innit? Because it's embarrassing even thinking about it, honestly.
All right. Lowell says Abraham's had 13 goals, Aubameyang 17. Not bad considering Abraham has been injured for so long. Did have a good with Abraham. Do you realise the guys don't give him enough respect, you know?
Nah, honestly, we all love Abraham. I think, me personally, and I think it's the same for a couple of Chelsea fans, we've kind of noticed that guy's been overplayed to death by the time we got to Christmas period and even further after that. The injuries that he had before the season ended they were obviously going to come for a good couple months before, because the guy was basically playing every game. And I mean, when you're making the step up from Aston Villa to becoming a top striker in a top 6 club in the Premier League, the intensity of the football that you're going to be playing is going to be a lot tougher. And I think Tammy Abraham could have done with a lot more rotation, but because of our situation, because of the players that we also have on the bench, Tammy Abraham's looked like our best option for a mile for a long period of time. So obviously he's going to start most of the games. Me personally, I would like to see Giroud get more game time. I think Giroud's a quality striker. I don't have to say it to you guys. You guys know what Giroud can bring to a team as well. And we just didn't use him until February. I mean, I think he had a couple games at the start, but then he had like one game against West Ham in December, and then that was it until the win against Spurs. And I think if we use him a bit more, I think we might have been able to get a bit more out of Tammy Abraham, because Tammy Abraham's just been overworked this season. I mean, Mishi's dead. I'm sorry, Mishi's just dead.
That's
But
right.
Olivier Giroud at least brings something to the team.
Okay.
Yeah, Batshuayi ain't got it. Ain't got it.
This guy, John B, says, would you take Coutinho?
Only for the right price, because I think he's still a quality player, and once you lose Eden Hazard, I mean, you can't really complain about who else you're going to put on that side to replace him.
See, again now, right? This is what I'm talking about with you guys. So if you bring Coutinho, what happens to Mason Mount?
They don't really play in the same position, though, do they? Would we bring Coutinho in from the midfield, or would we play him more in the left wing? But then that's the thing, because then it takes Pulisic out of the game. So I'm not sure, you know. Coutinho ain't really like a dream transfer. So I mean, if we could get him and it wouldn't really impact us that bad, I'd take him. But if it was something where it would mess up our loan structure, it would mess up the potentials of a couple of our youth players, it really ain't that worth it. It ain't that deep for me if we get Coutinho, because he's all right, but he's been passed around the top clubs in the world. It's not really a good sign if he's doing that and then he's coming to Chelsea afterwards. Basically, just sounds like another Morata.
Morata, I forgot about him, man. And I remember you telling me that Morata was better. I'm sure you was telling me Morata was better than Aubameyang at one time. Remember that?
Did I? I don't remember saying that.
I'm sure it was.
No. Even Chelsea fans couldn't defend Morata. If there is footage of this, then I deserve all the smoke coming my way. If I ever said that, that's cool. Everyone roast me for it. I don't care. I deserve it.
Just going back on the Aubameyang thing, then. So, what is the vibe at Chelsea? Are fans at Chelsea thinking this could happen, or are they just like, I don't think that's going to happen? But what's the vibe on that?
It looks like things are falling in the right place, but I mean, we're still optimistic, I'd say. It can happen. I'm looking there and I'm thinking there's a lot of things in the right place for us, a couple things in the right place for Aubameyang for it to happen. The same way, I'm just thinking, you lot ain't selling your best player to us. I mean, you've done it before, but you're not doing it again.
We've done it before, man. We've done it before. Listen, honestly, there'd be a meltdown at Arsenal if that happens.
I can imagine. Even with social distancing, there'll be riots outside the Emirates if you do that.
You know what?
I wouldn't blame you.
If that happens, right? I think the hierarchy will need social distancing for another few years. Right?
They'll get the fucking Woodward treatment and United fans outside of their door.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it cannot afford to, you know, for him. And as I said, and I'm not being disrespectful because you're on it. I just don't think I just don't look on it and say Chelsea is that massive step up at the moment. I just look on it and like, you got two teams. You got one team that's slightly better than the other. I just don't. All right, I suppose you could look on it and say, right, Chelsea will probably be in the Champions League. I suppose you could look on it and say it that way, and Arsenal won't. But apart from that, if you're looking at it and saying, well, Chelsea, are they going to win the Champions League? No. Chelsea, are they going to win the league? No. So you're the captain at Arsenal. Why would you leave? I just don't. I just don't see it. I just don't see the point in it. But
that's why we're only really that optimistic on it.
Huh?
That's why we're only really that optimistic on it, because you are right. This looks like Van Persie 2.0, but we ain't that Man United type club yet. We're not close enough to the title. If we were one step away, then it'd be a case like yeah, this could actually happen, you know. But you are right in that, because I mean, Aubameyang will come, but at the most, I think even with that, if we got Aubameyang and didn't make any other signings, I think we'd probably just be solid third or something like that. Maybe push for second if we're really lucky and City drop off like that. But it's still nowhere near Liverpool. Nowhere near Liverpool. But Liverpool right now, the perfect squad.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about Aubameyang going to leave trophies, I think that's the only club he's going to at that point.
Yeah,
But
and they
that's not
don't need
happening.
him, and they don't actually need him, do they? Because you know, so I like this comment.
That's like, yeah, that's the thing. 'Cause I'm not sure what's happening, but that's what will make you even more mad if the transfer happens. 'Cause I don't get why he's doing it unless he just really wants to stay in London. Because that's the only
he hasn't
real reason I can see it.
The Chelsea thing has been pure speculation. So there's no substance to it at the moment. I think what it is, I think people are looking on it and saying, you know, some of the people in the media, they're looking at, they know you need a striker. So
yeah, I think Matt Law said it like that. There weren't any rumours, but it was just looked like a good fit for the club.
Which one? Sorry.
I think it was Matt Law who said it, and or someone else. I'm not sure, but they basically said there's no rumours for Aubameyang, but it just looks like a really good fit for the club at the time.
You look at Chelsea, they need a striker. Aubameyang's going. You know, Chelsea would be able to have the money to do it. So people are putting that together and making that, but I just cannot see. That would be a bridge too far if they ended up selling him to you guys. I think that would be it. That would be it for the board. That would be it. That would be it. Unless they bought
done anyway, but it just shows they don't care.
Yeah, unless he bought in, you know, we bought in some huge name as a replacement, and that's not going to happen this summer because
you're bringing Willian.
Willian, listen, and you lot keep that Willian. We don't want
everything.
You keep that. We don't want that. I don't want
Two-time FA Cup winner, two-time Europa League winner. Actually, no, just a one-time. Two-time Premier League winner, though.
Yeah, good.
He's got experience.
Stay down your place, man. We don't want him. We've had enough of you. I mean, every time you send us a player, Gallas, David Luiz, Czech. You know what I mean? We don't want no more, man. You keep them. We don't want no more Chelsea players. You know what I mean? We do not want
Percy, I think we sold you some real talents.
Huh?
Percy, I think you sold you some real talents. And Gallas.
Gallas.
Gallas is too far even for me.
And that guy, he did that meltdown, man. Boy, you know what I mean? As this guy says, William can go and retire somewhere else, not retire us. But listen, thank you very much for coming on, even though you came on late. But thanks
apologies for that.
We'll get you back on. We'll get you back on. Obviously, this story will probably develop out more in the future. We've got to get you back on for definite, yeah? But thanks for coming on.
Yeah, this has been fun.
All right, no, definitely get you back on. And thanks to everybody for watching tonight. It's been a long one, actually, an hour and a half because Lewis came in late, but it was definitely worth the wait. Thank you to you guys. And we'll be back in the morning with the early edition.